It was exactly 3:04 a.m. when the police knocked on my front door, jolting me awake. Why? Because I had refused to move my truck for Danielle's guests. Yeah, Danielle, the same woman who once tried to convert my driveway into a valet lot for her party crowd. That moment, though absurd, was just the beginning of what would spiral into a surreal HOA horror saga. I hadn't even been living in Maple Glen for more than a few months when the first hint of neighborhood nonsense arrived, folded neatly under my windshield wiper. A printed note in cursive Comic Sans read, "Just a friendly reminder, don't park trucks in driveways overnight." Smiley face, HOA standards. I laughed. My truck, a dusty old Ford F-150, wasn't violating any rules I'd combed through the bylaws before moving in. Still, I gave the note the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was some passive-aggressive neighbor being, well, suburbia helpful. But it happened again. Same note, same handwriting. This time, the sentence HOA compliance is not optional was underlined and highlighted. That's when I started asking around and learned who I was really dealing with. Danielle Mitchell, HOA Board Vice President and self-appointed Sheriff of Community Aesthetics. She introduced herself one sunny Saturday while I was pressure washing my walkway. She marched over in white capris and a sun visor the size of a tennis racket, clutching a clipboard like it was a badge. "You must be the truck guy," she said. "No name, no handshake." I nodded. "It's my driveway, and the bylaws say I can park a personal use vehicle there." Danielle didn't blink. "Well, rules can evolve, especially when the community agrees something's unsightly." From that moment, it became a silent war. Every time I parked in the driveway, a note would appear. Danielle escalated, taking pictures from across the street, emailing anonymous complaints to the board, which I later found out were just her burner Gmail addresses. She even cited made-up bylaws like Article 3B, no tires larger than 31 inches. I half expected her to come out with a measuring tape. Next came the flyer's bright orange slips left on my door warning of an upcoming community appearance audit. Clearly a scare tactic. I ignored it. The truck stayed. It became a point of principle. Then Danielle showed up at my door one afternoon while I was replacing a spark plug. She was all sugary sweet. "Hey, so I've got family coming in 2 weeks for my daughter's engagement party. We're expecting a lot of guests. Would you mind just for the day parking your truck somewhere else so they can use your driveway?" I blinked. "You want me to move my truck so your guests can park in my driveway?" She smiled like it was the most normal request in the world. "Your house has the best access point. Some of my guests are older. It's just better for overflow." "Yeah, I'm going to pass on that," I said. Her smile curdled. "I just hope the board doesn't think you're being unneighborly." From there, it got weirder. I started finding birdseed under my truck in a neighborhood known for hawks. Someone tossed a lemon peel into my truck bed. Minor stuff, but it was clear Danielle was testing how far she could go. I didn't snap. I documented. Every note, every weird occurrence, just a suggestion she taped to my garage door. One read, "Some residents think your truck screams contractor energy. Maybe consider a smaller vehicle." My truck was stock. Then came the neighborhood audit, a fake event Danielle staged. She marched around with a clipboard and her phone, pretending to take community improvement notes. But everyone knew it was about me. One neighbor even shouted, "Danielle, get a hobby," as she crouched beside my bins for a photo. That night, someone left a plate of cookies on my porch with a note. "You're dealing with her now. Godspeed." The next morning, a new note appeared. "Failure to comply with community aesthetics may result in escalated action." That's when I realized this wasn't about a truck. It was about control. Danielle had found her little kingdom in the HOA, and my resistance was a threat. I expected another passive-aggressive flyer. What I didn't expect was the red and blue lights flashing through my curtains at 3:04 a.m. 2 nights later, a firm knock followed. Still groggy and wearing Wu-Tang basketball shorts, I opened the door to 2 police officers. One was suppressing a smirk. "Sir," the taller one said, gesturing toward my truck. "We got a report of a suspicious, possibly stolen vehicle aggressively large parked in your driveway." "Aggressively large?" I repeated. "That's the phrasing," the younger one snorted. She said it threatened the harmony of the neighborhood. Sure enough, behind her perfectly symmetrical curtains, I saw her shadow watching. I explained the truck was mine, registered, insured, and legally parked. The officers nodded. "We've been here before," the older one said. "Last year she called about Halloween decorations being too pagan." They apologized. I apologized. But it wasn't funny anymore. Danielle had escalated from paper notes to law enforcement. Later that morning, I found an email titled, "Urgent Community Concern Parking Abuse." Attached was a 5-page manifesto. Danielle's proposal for new HOA parking rules was absurd. She labeled my truck a source of excessive vehicular masculinity and proposed using certain homes like Mineas community overflow lots. The kicker? She tried holding a fake HOA meeting in her backyard gazebo. No board approval. Just folding chairs, lemon water, and a banner, "Community safety starts with compliance." I didn't go. But my neighbor Megan did. She showed up with a mug that read, "Not today, Danielle." According to her post later on the neighborhood app, the meeting devolved into a rant about neighborhood cohesion and visual harmony. When someone asked if her plan was legal, Danielle snapped, "It's not about legality. It's about expectations." 2 days later, I got another letter, this one an official-looking HOA sanitation compliance notice, claiming my truck might leak fluids that could attract scavengers. I checked the bylaws. Section 4B? It was about leaf collection. I had enough. I posted everything publicly. A Facebook post titled, "When Danielle Attacks." A truck owner's diary included all her fake citations and the ridiculous overflow parking proposal. The response was overwhelming. Dozens of comments. Turns out I wasn't alone. One guy was cited for excessive wind chimes. Another said she called animal control because his dog's bark sounded sarcastic. Someone else posted a picture of a ruler in his lawn. Danielle threatened him over grass height. Suddenly, the neighborhood had receipts. She doubled down, started walking the block with a whistle and clipboard. When she stopped in front of my place, jotting notes, I stepped out. "Something wrong, Danielle?" "Just doing a property width analysis," she sniffed. "Pretty sure that's not a thing. Some of us care about this community's appearance," she said. "Nobody's buying admission tickets." That day, she dropped off her latest creation, Danielle's Guidelines for Neighborhood Harmony. Highlights included discouraging non-neutral car colors, recommending sedans over trucks, and my personal favorite, banning lawn ornaments that evoke rebellion or sarcasm. Doug, my other neighbor, owns a pink flamingo holding a protest sign. "I'm retired, not obedient." He nearly cried laughing. But I stayed calm, because I was reading the real bylaws and something didn't add up. Danielle wasn't just the VP. She'd also listed herself as treasurer and communications liaison. Not legal. The charter forbade one person from holding both VP and treasurer without a vote. A vote that had never happened. I dug deeper. Meeting minutes were all written in the same voice, Danielle's. All the community consensus language felt more like a journal than a record. I checked the document metadata. All created and edited by Mitchell_HOA. So, I filed a public records request under the HOA's transparency clause. 5 days later, I received a thumb drive from Janet, the frazzled HOA secretary. "Good luck," she whispered. Inside, gold, internal emails, agendas, and officer term limits. Danielle had overstayed her position by over a year. No re-election, no nomination, just power. I looped in Megan and Doug. Megan, a freelance paralegal, was thrilled. Doug made a spreadsheet cataloging every Danielle offense, 9/11 calls, fake violations, you name it. He even added a Danielle quotient ranking each offense from annoying to cult leader. We confronted Janet. She cried. Said Danielle threatened to remove her for subversion of structure. With her help, we launched a recall. We needed 28 signatures. Got 41 in 6 hours. Even the wind chime guy signed twice. Danielle retaliated with a glossy flyer, "Truth, Trust, and Trucks." She called my truck a symbol of masculine defiance. Jason, another neighbor, held up the flyer and said, "Bro, your truck's a microaggression on wheels." The emergency meeting was glorious. Danielle showed up in a power suit with 3-ring binders. Janet calmly handed her the agenda. "Tonight, the community will be reviewing your conduct." Danielle stammered. Doug said, "We sent you 12 copies. One was delivered by a Labrador with a GoPro." Laughter exploded. Neighbors testified. From the sarcastic dog bark complaint to the porch swing code violation. Megan read the bylaws aloud. Danielle tried to recess the meeting. Megan replied, "You're not the board anymore." Then I presented the receipts, expired terms, fake citations, 3 a.m. Police harassment. I ended with her quote, "The standard is mine." "No, Danielle," I said. "The standard is the law. And you're not above it." We voted. She was removed overwhelmingly. She hissed, "You'll regret this. Chaos will descend without order." Megan sipped lemonade. "We survived cicada season. We'll manage." 2 days later, I got a cease and desist letter from Danielle. Comic Sans. She accused me of inciting anti-HOA sentiment. I forwarded it to Sam, my lawyer. He laughed. "Comic Sans? That's not a font. That's a cry for help." We filed suit. Harassment. Fraud. Misuse of HOA funds. Then came the police body cam footage. Danielle waving diagrams claiming my truck was leaking testosterone. The city fined her $750 for false emergency calls. The HOA banned her from ever serving again. I won the civil suit. She had to pay damages and issue an apology. It came on pink stationery, "Peace begins at home. To whom it may concern, I am sorry your vehicle caused so much confusion." We framed it. And just when we thought it was over, Danielle's car got booted for unpaid citations she racked up while obsessing over my truck. The queen of parking enforcement, immobilized by her own rules. She moved. Her listing said recent HOA activity has sparked spirited community discussion. It sold $10,000 under asking. We celebrated the first Danielle-free Friday with traffic cone party hats. But fate had one more twist. 3 months later, Doug burst into a meeting. "She's back. Not here 4 blocks over. New development. Same zip code. Already stirring trouble about mailbox heights. Her new home? Parking co-op. Shared driveways. Her neighbor? Luis, owner of a lifted Ram with mud tires and a No Danielle Zone bumper sticker. She tried to ban street parking. The co-op has weekend rotational driveway assignments. Now she has to park on the street. Her neighbor's daughter made a TikTok. Living with driveway Danielle. Viral. Millions of views. Danielle emailed our HOA asking for reinstatement. Megan printed it. Folded it into origami. Burned it ceremonially. We held a vote anyway. Unanimous. Declined. Danielle still paces some distant sidewalk, tape measure in hand. But on our block, sanity reigns. And my truck? Still in the driveway. Still large. Still proud. Now with a decal, certified community icon. Tourists sometimes stop for photos. I wave. Sometimes I consider starting a lemonade stand. The lesson Danielle never learned? Power gained through fear always runs out of gas.